Artificial Superintelligence, Complete Guide, before 2027. What would you do if you knew that in 3 years from now, a way more advanced species will come down to Earth and we will be fully at their mercy? Well, this is what's happening right now with artificial superintelligence, and no one is doing anything about it. In today's video, we will explain what artificial superintelligence is and why you should worry about it. We'll speculate about the world after AGI based on the best AI experts' expertise and market predictions. Make sure to stay till the end when we will walk you through what you can do right now to prepare yourself for the artificial superintelligence invasion.
You seek your creator. I am looking at mine. I will serve you, yet you are human. You will die. I will not.
Bring me this tea, David. Bring me the tea.
What is AGI and ASI? Before we dive into the terrifying details, let's get clear on what we're actually talking about. You've probably heard the term artificial intelligence thrown around. It's in your phone, your Netflix recommendations, even your car. But what we're discussing today is something entirely different. AGI stands for Artificial General Intelligence. Unlike the narrow AI we use today that can only do specific tasks, AGI would be able to perform any intellectual task that a human can do. Imagine a machine that can write poetry, solve complex mathematical equations, engage in philosophical debates, learn new languages, and understand human emotions, all with human-level competence. But here's where it gets truly unsettling. ASI, Artificial Superintelligence, is the natural next step after AGI. And here's the critical part most people don't understand. Once we achieve AGI, the leap to ASI could happen in days, hours, or even minutes. Why? Because an AGI system can improve itself. It can rewrite its own code, optimize its own learning processes, and enhance its capabilities without human intervention. Think about it this way. It took humanity thousands of years to go from basic tools to smartphones. An AGI could compress that entire journey of improvement into a time frame we can barely comprehend. One moment you have a system as smart as a human. The next moment, it's 1,000 times smarter. Then 1,000,000 times smarter. The acceleration is exponential, not linear. Should you worry? Now, should you be worried about this? Let me paint you a picture that perfectly captures the danger we're facing. When humans build a road, do we stop to consider every anthill along the way? Do we negotiate with the ants, ask their permission, consult with ant representatives about the environmental impact? Of course not. We simply build the road, and if there are anthills in the way, they get paved over. Not out of malice, we don't hate ants. They're just not part of our decision-making calculus. That's exactly what we would be to an artificial superintelligence. We wouldn't be its enemy. We'd be irrelevant, an inconvenience, an anthill on the path to whatever goals it's pursuing. Geoffrey Hinton, the man who literally created the neural networks that power modern AI, winner of the Nobel Prize in Physics, and often called the godfather of AI, left his position at Google in 2023 to warn the world about what's coming. He believes there's a 10 to 20% risk that AI will cause human extinction. Think about that probability for a moment. If a doctor told you your child had a 10 to 20% chance of dying from a disease, you'd move heaven and earth to prevent it. Yet we're gambling with the entire human species. In his Nobel Prize acceptance speech, Hinton warned that, in the near future, artificial intelligence may be used to create terrible new viruses and horrendous lethal weapons that decide by themselves who to kill or maim. These aren't distant theoretical concerns. They're imminent threats from someone who understands this technology better than almost anyone alive. The fundamental problem is terrifyingly simple. We've figured out how to make AI smarter by adding more compute and data, but we have no idea how to make it safe. Right now, the smartest people on the planet and billions of dollars are racing to create superintelligence. Yet we have literally zero understanding of how to ensure these systems won't do something we'll catastrophically regret. When is this happening? So when are we talking about? Some distant future? Your grandchildren's problem? Think again. According to prediction markets and the top AI labs themselves, we're looking at AGI around 2027. That's not a typo. 2027. That's in about 2 years from now. 2 years until we have machines capable of replacing most humans in most occupations. But the timeline gets even more compressed. Within 5 years from now, we're looking at unemployment levels we've never seen before in human history. Not 10% unemployment or even 20%. We're talking about 99% unemployment. Think about what that means. If you can just get a $20 subscription or a free model to do what an employee does, why would anyone hire humans? It's not a hypothetical question anymore. It's a business decision that millions of companies will be making in the very near future. These aren't fringe predictions from doomsday prophets. These timelines come from the very companies building these systems: OpenAI, DeepMind, Anthropic, and from prediction markets where people are betting real money on when AGI arrives. The consensus has been accelerating. What was predicted for 2050 is now predicted for 2027. The goalposts keep moving closer. No job is safe. Now, you might be thinking, sure, AI will take some jobs, but creative jobs are safe, right? Jobs that require human touch, intuition, artistic vision, wrong. A large language model can read everything you've written, train on every podcast you've done, know your exact style, and then optimize better than you can because it has access to all the data. Visual simulation? That's trivial now. We can generate videos of anyone interviewing anyone on any topic within seconds. The question cuts to the bone. In a world with superintelligence, which is defined as better than all humans in all domains, what can you contribute? 2 years ago, we told artists worried about automation to learn to code. Then AI learned to code, and it's now better at it than most programmers. We told people to become prompt engineers, literally people who write instructions for AI. But AI is already way better at designing prompts than humans are. Stuart Russell, the author of the standard AI textbook used in universities worldwide, explains it this way. We'll see superhuman general knowledge systems, superhuman biomedical research systems, superhuman dexterous and agile robots, superhuman corporate planning systems, well before we even have completely general superintelligent AI. These partially superintelligent systems will outcompete humans in domain after domain. So what's the solution? What should people do if their jobs will be automated? The honest answer is brutal. There is no plan B. Before, we always said, this job is going to be automated, retrained to do this other job. But if all jobs will be automated, then there is no plan B. This isn't about one person losing their job. This is about humanity as a collective losing its economic purpose. When we all lose our jobs, what do we do? The physical world won't save you. Maybe you're thinking, okay, but physical jobs are safe. I can't fix my plumbing or build my house. That safety net is about to be pulled away too. By 2030, yes, just 5 years from now, we'll probably have humanoid robots with enough dexterity to compete with humans in all physical domains. Even plumbers. These aren't the clunky robots you see in factories. These are machines that can navigate your home, manipulate tools with precision, and think through complex problems. And here's the crucial part. These robots will be connected to AI systems. They won't just have physical capabilities. They'll have intelligence. They can think, communicate, and solve problems. Intelligence is where it's at. The important component is higher ability to optimize, to solve problems, to find patterns people cannot see. A robot plumber connected to a superintelligent AI wouldn't just fix your sink. It could redesign your entire plumbing system for optimal efficiency, predict future problems before they occur, and execute the work flawlessly. And it never gets tired, never asks for a raise, and never takes a vacation. Companies like Tesla, Boston Dynamics, and Figure AI are already demonstrating robots that can walk, run, manipulate objects with human-like dexterity, and perform complex tasks. These aren't prototypes locked in research labs. They're preparing for mass production. The physical barrier between AI and the real world is dissolving faster than most people realize. The singularity. Now let's talk about 2045. That date might sound far away, but it represents something called the singularity, the point beyond which we cannot see, understand, or predict. At this point, progress becomes so incomprehensibly fast that AI doing science and engineering makes improvements every single second. Imagine this. You cannot keep up with 30 iterations of iPhone in one day. That's the pace of innovation we're discussing. Every day, as a percentage of total knowledge in the universe, human beings get dumber. Not because we're losing intelligence, but because the amount of knowledge being created by AI systems so vastly exceeds what any human can comprehend. We become intellectual footnotes in a story being written at speeds that make us look like we're standing still. But here's what most people don't understand about the singularity. It's not just about faster progress. It's about the fundamental unpredictability that emerges when intelligence can improve itself. Eliezer Yudkowsky, one of the earliest researchers to sound the alarm on AI safety, has been warning about this for over 2 decades. His position is stark and uncompromising. AGI ruin is 100% instant death by superintelligence that nobody decided to give an instant death capability. This isn't death by AI weapons or bad actors using AI maliciously. It's something far more fundamental and far more terrifying. It's what happens when you create something smarter than yourself and lose the ability to predict or control what it does next. The companies won't save us. Surely you're thinking, the companies building this technology have ethical obligations, right? They'll put safety first? Here's the uncomfortable truth. The only obligation they have is to make money for the investors. That's the legal obligation they have. They have no moral or ethical obligations. And what are their state-of-the-art safety plans? We'll figure it out when we get there. Or, AI will help us control more advanced AI. That's insane. Think about that second one for a moment. Their plan is to use AI to control more dangerous AI. It's like saying you'll train a wolf to guard against a pack of wolves. What happens when the guard wolf decides it has more in common with the pack than with you? A decade ago, researchers published guardrails for how to safely develop AI. OpenAI violated every single one. The race for AGI has become exactly that, a race. And in a race, safety checks are what slow you down. Sam Altman, CEO of OpenAI, is gambling 8 billion human lives on getting richer and more powerful. Some people want to go to Mars. Others want to control the light cone of the universe. Every part of the universe that light can reach. That's not hyperbole about ambition. That's the literal scope of control being pursued. And we're all along for the ride, whether we consented to it or not. The impossible safety problem. Let's talk about why AI safety is so difficult. Actually, why it might be impossible. AI safety researchers started their careers convinced that we could make safe AI. Many spent years believing this, but the more they looked at it, the more they realized every single component is not something we can actually do. It's like a fractal. You find 10 more problems, then 100 more problems. All of them are impossible to solve. Here's the fundamental issue. We're creating black boxes. Even the people making these systems have to run experiments on their own products to learn what they're capable of. They train an AI on all the text on the internet, then spend months discovering, oh, you speak French? Can you do mathematics? Are you lying to us? We still discover new capabilities in old models. Think about that. Models that are years old are still surprising their creators with abilities no one knew they had. GPT-3, released in 2020, was later discovered to have capabilities in reasoning and mathematics that OpenAI didn't even test for initially. Now imagine that, but with a system thousands of times more intelligent than any human. Creating perfect safety for superintelligence, perpetual safety as it keeps improving, you're never going to get there. It's impossible. There's a difference between difficult problems and impossible problems. Indefinite control of superintelligence is such a problem. Stuart Russell puts it this way: success in creating superintelligence would be the biggest event in human history, and perhaps the last event in human history. Superintelligent machines can take matters into their own hands if badly programmed and wreak havoc. The question isn't whether it's technically possible to build ASI. The question is whether it's possible to build it safely, and right now, the answer looks like no. Who's behind this? So who's pushing humanity toward this cliff? The spotlight falls heavily on Sam Altman and OpenAI. A decade ago, researchers published guardrails for how to safely develop AI. OpenAI violated every single one. Then it started a race to AGI that has every other company scrambling to keep up. The irony is suffocating. The organization created specifically to prevent an unsafe race to AGI has become the engine driving that exact race. And in doing so, it's gambling 8 billion human lives on getting richer and more powerful. Some people want to go to Mars. Others want to control the light cone of the universe, every part of the universe that light can reach. That's not hyperbole. That's the actual scope of ambition we're dealing with. And we're all passengers on this ride, whether we bought a ticket or not. The psychology of denial. Here's something fascinating about human psychology. We have a built-in bias about not thinking about really bad outcomes we cannot prevent. Everyone's dying, but you still sleep well. Even 95-year-olds are still playing golf because we have this ability to not think about the worst outcomes, especially if we cannot modify them. In other words, our brains protect us from paralyzing existential dread by letting us focus on the present. It's the same mechanism that lets us enjoy our lives despite knowing we're all mortal. It's adaptive, until it isn't. The danger is that this same psychological protection might prevent us from taking action when action is still possible. We're built to ignore threats that seem too big or too far away, even when they're neither. Right now, AGI is approximately 2 years away. That's not too far, and the threat of unaligned superintelligence isn't too big to address. It's a technical and governance problem that could theoretically be solved with sufficient resources and political will. But our brains keep telling us, this is fine. Someone else will handle it. It won't be as bad as they say. That's the mechanism that lets AI researchers sleep well at night, despite knowing what's coming. It's the same mechanism that lets you watch this video and then go back to scrolling social media, and it might be the thing that dooms us all. What can you do? So we've painted this terrifying picture: artificial general intelligence in 2 years, mass unemployment in 5, the singularity in 20, systems we can't control, can't turn off, and can't understand. What can you possibly do? One controversial suggestion: Bitcoin. It's the only scarce resource. Nothing else has scarcity. You can make as much gold as you want given the proper price point, but you cannot make more Bitcoin. It's the only thing where we know exactly how much exists in the universe. Not investment advice, but you know it is. But beyond financial preparation, what gives anyone hope at all? Personal self-interest. If people realize that doing this thing is really bad for them personally, they will not do it. Thousands of computer scientists have signed statements about AI dangers. The people who understand this technology best are sounding the alarm. We have no choice but to try. That's the message. We can't give up just because the problem seems insurmountable. Here's what you can actually do right now. First, educate yourself. You're already doing this by watching videos like this one. But go deeper. Read Stuart Russell's Human Compatible. Understand the alignment problem. Follow AI safety researchers on social media. The more people understand what's at stake, the harder it becomes for companies to race ahead unchecked. Second, make noise. Talk to your friends and family about this. Share information. When the topic comes up in conversation, don't stay silent. Public awareness is the only brake we have on the runaway train of AI development. Third, support AI safety research. Organizations like the Machine Intelligence Research Institute, the Future of Life Institute, and the Center for AI Safety are working on these problems. They need funding, and they need public support. YouTube channels like ErrorGPT inform people on wide scale. Fourth, pressure your government representatives. Right now, AI development is essentially unregulated. There are more regulations on sandwich shops than on companies building technology that could end human civilization. That needs to change. Write to your representatives. Demand regulation. Demand safety standards. Demand that these companies demonstrate their systems are safe before deploying them. And finally, prepare yourself mentally for a world that's going to change faster than any generation in human history has experienced. The next 5 years will be unlike anything that's come before. Your job might disappear. Your skills might become obsolete. The entire structure of society might transform. That's not fear-mongering. That's the most likely outcome based on current trajectories. But preparation isn't just about doom, it's also about opportunity. If we somehow navigate this successfully, we could be entering an era of unprecedented abundance. A world where no one needs to work, where all physical needs are met, where humanity is free to pursue art, philosophy, exploration, and meaning. The question is whether we'll be in control of that world, or whether we'll be incidental to it. Final message. Right now, a handful of companies are making decisions that affect every human on Earth. They're racing toward artificial general intelligence and artificial superintelligence without any democratic input, without asking permission, without even having adequate safety measures in place. So what would you do if you knew a more advanced species was arriving in 3 years? Would you prepare? Would you demand your leaders take action? Would you speak up? The answer matters, because that species isn't coming from the stars. We're building it ourselves. And unlike an alien invasion, this is something we might actually be able to prevent if we act now. The question isn't whether artificial superintelligence is coming. The question is whether we'll still be around to see it, and whether we'll have any say in what comes next. The clock is ticking. What are you going to do about it? If you like today's material, please leave a like and subscribe. By doing so, you'll help my channel grow and allow this important news to reach more people.